Welcome, everyone. We're so excited to bring this webinar to you today. I'm Reagan Neal, the Customer Relations Specialist at Reventals, and I'm your moderator today. Please put any questions that you have in the chat, and we'll be answering those at the end. And then just before we get started, I'm going to open a quick poll to see how many people on the call are already using Google Ads. Go ahead and start that. Perfect. Our presenter today is Candace Leak. She is our Chief Commercial Officer at Tapgoods. She started 3 startups in diverse industries, including the event rental sector, and she's excited to talk to you about Google Ads today. Remember to send in your questions as you listen. I'll be answering those at the end, and then I'll turn it over to Candace and post those results from our poll in just a moment.
Okay, great. Yeah, I want to see the results too, because I could probably tweak the content a bit if everybody already knows a lot about Google Ads. There we go. We got 56, about 50-50. So I think we have content for everybody, and there'll definitely be a question and answer at the end. So we don't cover something maybe more technical that you want to go over. Please write it in the chat and we will definitely get that answered. Okay, so hello, welcome. First I want to say Google Ads are intimidating. You know, I've been using Google Ads for 20 years. Yes, I hate saying that because then you know about how old I am. What I've done for this one is pulled out the most important pieces, because I find that while Google Ads is pretty amazing in its robustness, that also makes it very overwhelming if you're just getting started. So today I pulled out the most important pieces. We're going to ignore everything else, just focus on the most important pieces. And we're going to go over a step-by-step guide, including best practices to get started. I appreciate you giving me 30 minutes of your time, and I'm going to work my hardest to make sure you don't regret it. I love pay-per-click ads. I think they're the fastest way to grow your business. With SEO and other methods, you actually have to wait to have a build-up to have, and you should be doing those things too, but you have to wait and build up to see the results. With pay-per-click Google Ads, you can get pretty immediate results. We have another poll here. Just thinking about all types of marketing. I thought everybody in the room, since you're all rental companies, would love to know this. What is your best marketing channel for acquiring leads? So we will give you the results to that as well. And we can talk about that more in the Q&A section. So first up, why Google Ads matter. Did I skip my agenda? Yeah, I didn't really talk too much about it, but we're going to go over all these 5 steps. So I don't need to read that slide to you. Why Google Ads matter. Like I mentioned, ads are a way to get immediate revenue. There's a lot of different types of ads. I'm going to focus on search ads today. I'll briefly go over the different types, but the search ads I think are the best way to get started, because that's where you find people at the moment of intent. When they're looking to rent now, buy now, you can grab them at that moment of intent and turn that into money for your business. And Google Ads generated $224 billion in revenue in 2024. So you may hear that number and think, yeah, but that's all the big companies that have big marketing teams. But it's not. 46% of that, or $103 billion in revenue, went to small local businesses just like yours. So I want to help you get a piece of that pie. So I'm guessing that the biggest barrier to getting started is figuring out how much to spend. So before we get into the steps to get started, I just want to talk about max cost per click. And this is where you kind of start to determine what your budget is. Oh, and here's our poll results. It looks like the majority of you are doing word of mouth, which is absolutely the best way to grow a business. And then followed by social media and the other ones. So only 16% say that pay-per-click is your best for acquiring leads. I think we can improve it for you. Maybe it still won't be your best. Word of mouth is, in my opinion, is always the best route to go. But I bet we could make it a solid number 2 for you. Okay, so back to max cost per click. I like to start here because if we just break it down to a unit sell, then you can then extrapolate that to figure out what daily budget, monthly budget you want to do. So first you start with the money that you're willing to spend for an order. We need to know your average order value. So when people come to your website, what's the average that they spend? The money you're willing to spend for that size order, the conversion rate on your website, and that's going to give you your max cost per click, your max cost per click. So it's not as hard as it sounds. So let's just do an example because I'm much better visual with actual examples. So let's say your average order value, an average order that you get off your website is $1,000. And you're willing to spend $100 in marketing to get that order, or 10%. You may pay that to an event planner that brings you orders. Whatever that, I'm just throwing numbers up here so you know how to do the calculation. You put the numbers in that work for you. Then the conversion rate is basically for every 100 people that come to your site, how many ultimately place an order for you? So in our example, we said we're willing to spend $100 for that order, and 3%, or 3 out of every 100 people that come to our site, place an order. So our max cost per click in this example is $3. So it's pretty easy to figure out your max cost per click. You may need to use some data from your website. If you have questions about that, write in. We can work with you on that too. But you can get your max cost per click, and then you will use that to create a daily budget and a monthly budget. Okay, so step one, now we know how much we'll pay. We're going to put that aside for a minute. It's going to come back into play for a minute. But step one is just to create a Google Ads account. It sounds like a lot of you already have this. I'm not going to go over the details. I mean, just fill out the form. The thing I do want to mention that I find to be a little intimidating is when you fill this out, they do ask for a credit card. And so a lot of people will be like, oh, I don't want to give it. They're going to start charging. They will not start charging until you turn ads on. I think it's just a way to prevent people from creating a lot of erroneous accounts. Okay, so once you get your account with Google Ads set up, they're going to ask you about a campaign type. And this is when Google Ads starts to get intimidating because there's a lot of different options. For today, we are going to focus on search ads. These are ads that appear when users search for specific keywords. In my opinion, this is the easiest place to get started. And so that's where I want to focus. Next up is display ads. I'm just going to go through these so you're aware, because they're also Google Ads. I want to mention they will give you someone to talk you through setting this up. It's a good resource, use it. But when you get on the phone with them and they start trying to get you to add all this other stuff, one, you'll know what it is, and two, you can decide if you want to do it or not. So display are visual banners. These appear on websites like YouTube and across the Google network. Shopping ads, you've probably seen this when you've searched something before. They're the little product images at the type that have prices and descriptions, and they appear in the Google Shopping search results. Video ads run on YouTube and other Google partner websites. App ads run on ads. Performance Max, or PMax, are goal-based campaign type that runs ads across all of Google's networks. So this PMax combines search, display, YouTube, all these options. And then local, which is the other one I really like, are ads designed to drive traffic to physical locations. You've seen these before. If you type in coffee shop near me, a little map comes up and it'll show you the ones near you, but it doesn't always show you the one closest to you. There will be ones that are sponsored at the top. Those are your local ads. Okay, step 2, we're going to go back to that cost per click and talk about a budget. So use the max cost per click you determined earlier to set a daily cap. We can talk more about what your daily cap should be. We have a special guest here today, Jim from Recipe, who is a Google Ads pro. So we can talk to you about that. But for this, just really depends on your company size. But I say if you've never done Google Ads before, start with a few $100s, learn. Don't go big at once because you will make mistakes. From your daily cap, you'll figure out a daily budget. One thing to mention there is turn off weekends and holidays, unless you'll be getting back to customers in a timely manner. So an exception to that, if you have auto booking on your website where somebody can pay an auto book and be done, great. Leave it on weekends and holidays. Let it work for you. But if you don't have Autobook and you're asking people to just like request more information or get a quote, don't do it on days that you're not going to get back to them in a timely manner because you're going to waste the money. They're less likely to convert. We're going to go into keywords more in a minute, but I just wanted to mention here, focusing on high intent keywords, use the word rent and near me. Sometimes I see people set up accounts and they'll be like, well, I rent Chiavari chairs. So my keyword is Chiavari chairs. That's a waste of money because you are going to find people that are looking to buy Chiavari chairs. You're looking to rent. So make sure you use rental or rent, get the right intention. Okay, what else do I want to say? We're going to talk about, I also like to use a manual cost per click. So this gives you control over the maximum amount you're willing to pay. So there's a lot about cost per click and how you can run different ads. Here's what I want to say about that right now. I wrote a very detailed blog on how to do all these things step by step. And when you get to these options like what's your bidding strategy, it has information in there. So we're going to share that blog with you with the details step by step. And we're also going to share a Google cheat sheet with you as soon as the webinar is over. So don't worry about writing all this down or getting real nervous about everything I'm saying. We're going to walk you through it after this webinar with that content. Okay, step 3, we're going to find keywords to target. So I just mentioned a little bit about that, about getting very specific keywords. A keyword is a term or phrase that someone types into the search engine, which then triggers your ad to appear. So your ad will be displayed based on keywords that you choose. So I would not recommend just getting into Google Ads and start adding in keywords. Instead, they have a handy dandy little tool called Google's Keyword Planner that you can use to find high intent keywords. So start by typing in what you think your customer would search for. So for example, I would probably type in like party tent rentals near me or wedding chair rentals. And then from there you click get ideas and it will gather related ideas. So it's going to show you a list of keywords, their search volume, and the average cost per click for each keyword. You are looking for keywords that have relatively high search volume compared to other ones and low cost. So for example, if everybody is searching tent rentals and it's really expensive, you may choose to put more of your budget towards party tent rentals. That's called a longer tail keyword. It's a specific multi-word phrase that targets a niche audience. So it's highly specific search intent. You could also do something like, instead of just wedding tent rentals, maybe you do, if you are maybe you do affordable outdoor wedding tent rentals in Austin. That's a long tail keyword, but you get somebody that's looking for something that's affordable. You could change that. If you're more high end, you could do high end outdoor. You'll use the keyword planner to figure out what fits your specific audience. So while long tail keywords typically have lower search volume, they are usually less expensive, which means you can compete better and have a higher conversion rate. So when you're working with a smaller budget, I love the long tail keywords. Also, someone searching for a long tail keyword is usually farther along in their buying journey and ready to take action. Example there. I would not use types of wedding tent rentals. That person's intent is to research and figure out what they want. So with a small budget, I wouldn't use types of wedding tent rentals. I would use something like I mentioned, affordable outdoor wedding tent rentals, something longer, more specific that's getting at them at that moment of intent. Okay, now we have our keywords. We have to determine match type. So it's not just that easy. You can't just say, here's my keywords, Google, do your job. They like to make it difficult. So the first type of match is an exact match. This allows your ad to show up only when search queries very closely match your keyword. By the way, it's not really exact. It's very closely matched. This gives you highly targeted traffic, but it can limit your reach if your keywords are too specific. I do recommend, though, if you're just getting started or have a small budget, to put most of your budget here, because you can be confident they'll convert. And then if you're not able to use your whole budget because you are too specific, you can start opening that up some. Phrase Match offers more flexibility. It displays ads for searches that include your keyword in the same order, making it great for capturing intent while still maintaining control, though it may miss some variations. So this one, like tent rentals near me, may also do tent, nearby tent rentals. So it's really close. The intent's the same. The third one is Broad Match. This casts the widest net. It shows ads for searches related to your keyword in any order, even including synonyms. This does maximize reach, but can result in irrelevant clicks. And I'd say just put a small amount of your budget here, even with a bigger budget. I do like Broad Match. It's more of a fishing expedition. I'll tell you an example. What I mean by that, I was running an ad one time for those inflatable soccer balls that people get in and like at events. I don't even know what they do. Are they running like little mouse and a ball, I guess, racing? And I was using words like inflatable soccer ball, human inflatable ball. And even the keyword planner wasn't suggesting anything else. And I did a broad match on that. And it started showing my ad for a Zorb. I think it's called a Zorb ball, Z-O-R-B, something like that. And what I realized after that, and it started converting at a very high rate. And I realized that is the technical name. It's not really an inflatable soccer ball or whatever. It's called a Zorb ball. So if you are looking to expand, putting a little bit in broad match is not a bad idea. Just couple it with negative keywords, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about in a second. But an example there is if you just ran an ad for rentals near me, you want to couple that with negative keywords such as car rentals, apartment rentals. You don't want to pay for that traffic. They're not looking for what you're selling. So if you're going to do a broad match, it's important to couple with negative keywords. On we go. So now we created our account, we set our budget, we figured out our keywords. Now we have to write the ad. So, of course, write clear and engaging copy, focus on unique selling points, and most importantly, include a strong call to action. After this call, I'm going to share a little tool I use. It's online and it helps you write ads. I think it does a really good job because it kind of prompts you through it. But here's some examples for you. Impress your guests with top quality event furniture. Book now. So I've given you like a benefit. You're going to impress your guests. I've told you what I do, top quality event furniture, and I've given you a call to action. Book now. The most important thing with ads is that the keyword you chose is in the ad, is on the landing page. We're going to talk about landing pages, but make sure if you are running an ad, I've seen people getting started with Google Ads make this mistake. They create ads for chairs and tables and tents and all kind of things, and they send them all to their homepage. That is a bad user experience. If I'm typing in tent rental near me, give me an ad that's about tent rentals near me and take me to a page that has tent rentals near me. Because if I type in tent rentals near me and it says Bob's Tents, and then it takes me to a page that just shows everything that Bob rents, and now I have to search for tents, you are more likely to lose me. So make it really, really easy for me to give you my money. That's the goal here. And also your relevancy on these ads will be better. Like you'll get a higher quality score because you're using the keyword across all three. In the ad, you're using the keyword in the ad and on the landing page. Okay, this next up, I really love this. So many people don't use this. And to me, it just goes back to the old marketing adage, location, location, location. So we're gonna get some good location on our ads with this. So extensions. Extensions are things that you can add to your ad. So I've got 3 here I can show you. Call extensions let customers call directly from the ad. So this is going to set you apart from competitors that aren't immediately available because maybe someone's looking for something, but they don't know what size tent they want, or whatever question. What is it? What is a Chiavari chair? Will a folding chair be sufficient? If you have your phone number, they're gonna, that's gonna help you convert more. Okay, the next one is putting your location. So the location extension is great if you allow people to come into your business and see things, because it's a highlight your address for easy access. Do not use this if you work out of a warehouse. Don't add your extension because people may try to come to that location. Now, this last one, the site link, this goes back to why location, location, location. Here it is. I've added specific pages that are popular on this website. This is just a pretend website, Wow Productions. So I've added specific pages that are popular, and I want you to see what happened. Look how much space I'm now taking up on that search engine result page. I've tripled the size of my ad. Let me go back. Here's what my ad looks like with no extension. Well, that has a call extension. Now I've added site link extensions and it's triple the size. So I've pushed everybody down. I've taken up more space on the page. So I love, this is one of those things. Google Ads offers a million little things like that. They don't all make a big difference. I do think site link extensions do. Okay, landing pages. We touched on this a second ago, but this is where you're going to send someone when they click on your ad. This page is critical because it convinces someone to take action after they click. If the landing page isn't relevant or doesn't match the promise of the ad, visitors will not likely engage. So in the ad that we looked at a minute ago, if we did in fact use, where was it? If we did in fact use something like get a quote today or buy now, book now, don't say book now if they can't actually book now on your site. Use get a quote today or rent today, whatever your call to action is. Just make sure that you're fulfilling the promise on the landing page. Things to make sure your landing page aligns with your ads. We talked about keywords, clear, concise headlines. Of course, a prominent call to action. Don't make them search for that button to get in touch or to get a quote. See right here on this one, we have shop rentals. We have that, this is just a pretend website. Make the page very simple so that people don't get lost and confused on your site. Regarding call to action, you just want one call to action. So don't put other links on your landing page. This will prevent confusion and maximize conversion. So for example, a lot of times people will have about us or, how we got started. I love all of those things on a website because it makes me want to do business with you. I feel like I know you. Do not put those on your landing page because what happens is like, I'm in the mindset, tent rentals near me. I get to a page, it's about tent rentals near me, and then I see up here about us, and I start reading all about Jim's life. And in the meantime, my child walks in the room, they need to be fed, I leave, and I forget where I was, and the next day I start my search over. So we only want to have one call to action so we can get them exactly where we want them to be. So it's just like thinking about if you're herding cattle, you're kind of going through that corral. We want to put our hypothetical cattle, which is probably not the nicest thing to call our customers, but we want to put them through a specific, maze that we want them to go through. So in the blog that I'm going to share, I have some great examples of landing pages. You don't need to recreate the wheel. Just follow the best practices or use a template and you will see. There's also websites like Unbounce. HubSpot even does it, that has templates for landing pages that you can use. Step 6, the step most often not done. Track and measure success. And here's what I want to say about this. Do not do Google Ads if you are not going to commit to looking at the analytics on a regular basis, unless you pay somebody to do it for you and they do that. But if you're going to do it yourself, I feel so often what people do is they get Google Ads set up and they set it and forget it. That is not how Google Ads works. You will fail. You will not have a good conversion. I've tried it. And here's why I've tried it. I've run small businesses. And when I've run a small business, I get in and I have every intention to spend time on marketing, but I get in, an employee's sick, a machine broke down, a million things happen. You know, the chairs didn't get returned that need to go out that same day. I'm so busy that all these things trump marketing and I never end up actually doing it. But if you're going to spend money for and pay for Google Ads, it is important that you go back and check them once a week, see how you're doing, adjust, and then you will be successful. So let me go through just a couple of things there. Again, Google Ads will give you probably 1,000 different metrics to look at, maybe not that many, but hundreds. I just pulled out a couple. So I'm trying to make it super easy so that you can commit to it. So first is the click-through rate. This measures how often users click on your ad after seeing it. So a good click-through rate for Google Ads is between 7 and 9%. If you're seeing a 2% click-through rate, people aren't interested in your ad. You're not saying what they want to, when they're typing in that keyword, you're not giving them the experience that they're looking for. So you will want to go back and either turn that ad off or you want to change your ad and try to get that click-through rate up. The next one is your conversion rate. This tracks how many clicks turn into bookings or inquiries, however you measure it on your website. The average conversion rate for e-commerce search ads is 2.81%. You can do better than that if you're focusing on the things I'm showing you and look at it on a regular basis. The last one is your quality score. This is Google's rating of your ad relevance and landing page experience. So the AdWords quality score is a keyword level score based on a 1 to 10 scale. So for example, over here, you can see we got 8 out of 10 for party tent rentals. So every keyword in your Google Ads account is assigned a quality score. A quality score of 8 to 10 is good, and you will get this if you follow a pretty simple rule. So your keyword is in your ad and on your landing page. Don't advertise for things you don't provide or send people to pages that talk about other things, because this will result in a high bounce rate and low quality score. So let me just give you some examples here on this one. The other day I typed in plaid double size comforter. I was looking for one for my son's room, and a Target ad came up, and it actually said plaid double size comforter in the ad. I'm like, great. Click on it. It takes me to a page of hundreds, if not more, comforters, none of which are plaid. So it was a terrible experience. I did not end up buying anything from Target. The other thing I've seen people do is they say, oh, well, so-and-so told me that they get a ton of traffic from like this word inflatables or, bounce house rentals. Now, I know I don't offer bounce house rentals, but I offer things that go with bounce house rentals. So I'm going to get that keyword and then I'm going to sell them chairs and stuff. That will fail. That will not work. Don't do keywords of things, because again, what's going to happen is you chose bounce house rentals as your keyword. The ad comes up and says, bounce house rentals. They click on it and they don't see bounce house rentals. So they immediately hit the back button. That's called bouncing. And it's an indicator to Google Ads that this is not a relevant ad, and you will have a bad quality score. And when your quality score is bad, you actually pay more for the same keywords as people with a high quality score. So it's in your best interest to give the user a good experience and not, pick words and give them, take them to exactly what they're looking for. Also, you'll convert more. Okay, quickly, and then I'll wrap up because I know I've been talking a long time. Let's talk real quickly about common mistakes to avoid. I'm going to run you through these. I want to say again, they are in the blog that is very detailed on everything I've said, so don't worry about trying to take notes. Mismatched content, I think I've driven that point home. Just to say again, make sure your keyword is in your ad and in your landing page. Another one is ignoring negative keywords. You definitely want to exclude irrelevant terms to avoid wasting your budget. Just remember, it is in Google's best interest to spend your money. So they're going to show your ad for anything that their algorithm says is relevant. It's up to you to go in and in your negative keywords, mark out things that are not relevant for your business, and then just spend the money on things that are relevant. For example, if your target customer is very high end and luxury, don't go ahead and mark the word cheap as a negative keyword, because those people searching for cheap rentals are probably not going to pay your more expensive prices anyway. If that's not your target customer, don't pay for those words. So you'll want to make sure you use, that's probably the biggest thing, is just like use your negative keywords. Don't overload with information, specifically on the landing page. Just keep it clean, focused, one call to action. Don't ignore mobile optimization. I think about 50% of all traffic, if not more, is on mobile now. So make sure your pages load quickly on mobile. If they don't worry. Just don't spend ad budget on it. Send all your ads. You can send your ads just to desktop. You can send them to where there is a good experience. So it doesn't mean you can't get started, but don't spend money there unless your pages load quickly. So that's slow loading pages, and then the hidden call to action. I've often seen this where you go to a page and you're like, yeah, this is exactly what I want. How do I take that next action? And there, you got to hunt for it. Don't make people hunt for it. Okay. One more quick thing. I'm going to share with you a Google Ads cheat sheet. It's a quick reference guide to everything we talked about today. I recommend printing it out, keeping it handy, giving me feedback on it if you think something else should be included, but it's just like basically front and back. I would print it out and stick it on the desk so I can just grab it quickly when I'm going to do Google Ads. Now, if I just listen to all of myself talk about all of that for the last 25 minutes or so, I would be overwhelmed if I had never been in Google Ads before. So we also have a special guest with us here today. His name is Jim. He's from a company called Recipe. They specialize in ads specifically for party rental companies. And to make it even better, he's in the rental business himself. So take it away, Jim.
Yeah, thank you very much, Candace. So quick context. Again, my name is Jim. The company is called Recipe. I've owned a tent rental business in Boston for almost 20 years. And while I was growing my business, my day job, my full-time job, was in online digital marketing for a giant publicly traded tech company. So this blend of rental experience and digital marketing experience is exactly what I hope to offer, or what we offer to our clients. We've got hundreds of event rental companies that we manage Google Ads for. I really believe in the tool. It's a great way to start the engine for your business, or it's a great way to supplement growth, right? Rather than just waiting for those referrals or SEO or word of mouth. This is something you can do that's immediate and that's clearly an investment, right? Yes, there is a cost, but if we do it right, that cost, that we should produce a very healthy return on the ad dollars spent here. Because like Candace mentioned, all we're doing is trying to capture the demand that already exists. These people have gone to Google and blatantly raised their hand saying, I'm looking for your services, right? So that's an important part to remember. Candace did a great job of going, through all the setup and the functionality. But if we just think, first principles, think about kind of why are we doing this? Realistically, there's a market on Google and we can capture it easily, right? And that's what Google Ads is great for. So we would be thrilled to help if you haven't started running Google Ads, or if you're running them yourself and kind of struggling, or don't have time for it. We'd be thrilled to be a resource. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Candace and Jim. If anybody has any other questions, please feel free to add those in the chat below. But I do have a couple that have been asked, so I'll go ahead and start with those. One is for you, Jim, just based on your experience, what do you think is a good starting budget for a small rental business?
Good. Yeah. So this is a very common question. So if we're a new rental business, a smaller company, a startup, if we're a little hesitant to spend money on Google Ads, the nice part is you're not making a commitment to anything. You're telling Google that, hey, here's my daily budget, right? So if we say our daily budget is $10 per day, that would suggest $300 per month. And that's probably a good, a fair starting point, right? Because we still want to give this thing a chance. We still need to have clicks come in, right? We still need to determine, is this a good channel for marketing our business? So that's what we typically tell people is, if we can start at $300 a month, and then what we typically find is the fear turns into, kind of the fear goes away when people realize, oh, I spent $300. I got 8 leads and I closed 3 or 4 of them into customers. So I spent 300 and made 3,000. Great. I totally get it. Now let's ramp it up. And that's kind of typically how this goes.
Yeah, the other thing I just want to add on to that, Jim, too, this is something that I often forget, even after doing it 20 years. I'm always looking at the metric of, did I make money on that specific order? But in most every business, especially rentals, you're going to get repeat business. So think about that too when you're doing these Google ads, is like, if you break even on that first order, which I think we can do much better than that. But let's just say when you're getting started, you're just breaking even, you're like, well, I'm not making any money. You're going to make money. You guys just told me that like word of mouth is the number one thing for you guys. I think most people on this call provide very good service and get brand loyalty. So when they're going to do repeat business with you, you're not paying for that. So keep that in mind too.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's fair. I try to remind people like, hey, every customer that we land should hopefully bring 1.5 new customers. Right. So if we do a nice job, we get a 5-star review, and that helps us land the next customer, or the referral, the word of mouth. So yes, we're paying for traffic, but to your point, we're not paying for one customer. We're paying hopefully for like 1.5 customers. It's kind of just the gasoline that we use to help start the engine of the business.
Awesome. So just another question kind of to go off of that one is, once somebody does start this process, how long really does it take to see results?
Jim, you want to take that one too?
Yeah, happily. So the wonderful part with Google Ads is that if we set up an account today, ads can be running tomorrow, right? So this is unlike your other marketing channels, right? SEO, which is going to take time. Google Ads is pretty immediate. So within, let's say, 12 to 24 hours, you can create an account, get the ads running, and start to see traffic flow.
Um, so we have somebody that has tried this before and just didn't see results right away. So kind of how often do you kind of tweak the ads, and how do you know that the budget is being used well?
Yeah, so Google, like Candace said, gives people a lot of opportunities to get themselves tangled up, right? There are so many features and settings. So it doesn't surprise me, if it's like, if even if there's a small hole in your boat, over time, it's going to create big problems. So it doesn't surprise me to hear people say, oh, we tried it, it didn't work. Maybe, sort of, right? To the question, or to the point about how do we know if it works, the best possible thing we can do is put conversion tracking in, right? So leave no doubt, right? Google allows us to take like a snippet of code and put it somewhere in your website. And the only way that code is fired is if the potential customer, gets to like a thank you page or a successful order page, right? So if we can track conversions, there should be no gray area as far as like, did it work? What was my cost to acquire a lead? What was my return on investment? So that conversion tracking, that's the beauty of digital marketing, is that all of this stuff is very, very trackable. So, two-part answer. A, let's try to use conversion tracking if we can. And B, if we can't, let's just ask people, right? How did you hear about us? That's a inexpensive or a free, simple way to kind of just get an idea of what's working and what isn't for your business.
Yeah, that's awesome. We do have another question on if there are AI tools that could possibly help with this too.
Yeah. So Google, unsurprisingly, I guess, Google has built a ton of AI into Google Ads, right? So they offer AI features to help you write your ads. There's a ton of sort of automated bidding tools, right? So Candace mentioned she likes to use manual, right? Just, hey, I don't want the machine deciding how much I spend per click. I want to make that decision. So I actually like that strategy too. I want more control over the machine, right? But if you don't have time to handle this stuff, Google has options that say, hey, optimize my account to get me the most clicks possible, or optimize my account to get me the most conversions possible. So, there's starting to be AI tools baked right into the Google Ads platform.
Yeah, I'll add on to that too, Jim. Like I mentioned and you just mentioned, I like being in control to get started. But what I've found with the AI tools is once you've kind of tweaked it and you're like, oh, this is what I've given you enough data to see like this is what conversion looks like. This is an ad that works. Then I start integrating some of the AI tools and letting Google take it over. So if you give it enough information to make good decisions, it becomes a good tool. I just do not recommend, I mean, maybe as it gets better, it'll be better, but I don't recommend starting with that. I really think you need to do it yourself, have somebody like Jim's company do it, set it up to let Google know what works for your business, what's specific to your business, then let AI start to take over as you get more and more data.
Agreed.
Awesome. Well, that pretty much brings us to a close with the questions. If you're a TapGoods user, you can always contact your relationship manager, onboarding specialist, or you can email support@tapgoods.com if you have any other questions or if you want to hear more about automation in TapGoods. And then if you're in need of rental software, you can scan the QR code here with your phone or iPad and check out all that TapGoods offers.
Yeah, we also have an email going out to you with all the resources I mentioned. So you can reply back to that email and look at all those resources as well. We are here to help you. That's what we do, make renting easy.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone.